The relationship between the cast and crew of a film is a key to its success. It's likely to fail if any two members don't get along. Some films, such as Chinatown, Tootsie, and American History X, managed to succeed despite behind-the-scenes feuds. Others, like Cop Out, couldn't overcome them. Keep watching to learn about actor and director enemies who vowed never to work together again. Kevin Smith versus Bruce Willis. Kevin Smith and Bruce Willis first worked together on the 2007 film Live Free or Die Hard. Kevin was originally a big fan and happy to work with his idol. That only lasted a few years. Kevin made the eventual feud between himself and Bruce Willis obvious at the wrap party for their 2010 film Cop Out. He called him undirectable and intimidating and accused him of sabotaging shots. He even claimed Tracy Morgan kept them from getting into physical fights on set. Bruce hasn't given much commentary on the feud. He did call the director a whiner in an interview for Time Out and said they had personal issues about how they approached the film. Kevin eventually apologized after Bruce's aphasia diagnosis came to light. This may or may not end the feud, but it will end their pairings as both are retired from the business. Lily Tomlin and George Clooney versus David O. Russell. Sharon Waxter said in her book Rebels on the Backlot that George is known for sticking up for crew members but having problems with those in authority on set. That was true when he worked with David O. Russell on the 1999 film Three Kings. The movie was important for both of them. It was the director's first big-budget picture and a way for the actor to improve his reputation after flops like Batman and Robin. This didn't stop altercations on set. George sent the director a scathing note. Then they threatened and grabbed each other until David apologized and walked away. Stanley Kubrick versus Shelley Duvall. The Shining may be one of the most beloved horror films of all time, but Stanley Kubrick went to extreme measures to get genuine terror from his actors. He traumatized and isolated Shelley Duvall, made her repeat the famous baseball bat scene 127 times, and told the rest of the crew to ignore her when she got upset. She said it was the most difficult role she'd ever had. The 13 months of shooting even caused her to lose her hair and face other health problems. Kim Basinger versus Adrian Lyne. The 1986 film 9.5 Weeks was another example of a film where the director went overboard for an authentic performance from their lead actress. He also convinced co-stars to ignore Kim off camera and admitted that the pair raged at each other often. She says she was ready to quit the project several times but felt it was worth it in the end. David Fincher versus Robert Downey Jr. Personalities clashed when this actor and director tried to work together. David's frequent retakes didn't match Robert's quick style. He once told his director he couldn't handle working 14 hours a day and allegedly left mason jars of urine around the set as a silent protest. The film did eventually get made. Robert saw David as a dictator and wanted to choke him several times, but got over it in the end. Otto Preminger and Roman Polanski versus Faye Dunaway. Faye and Roman clashed several times on the set of the 1974 film Chinatown. She once asked him about her character's motivation, and he responded that her salary is her motivation. He allegedly pulled a hair out of her head when it got in the way of a shot. The film's cinematographer later described an incident where she asked to go to the bathroom and threw a coffee cup full of urine at him when he refused. Another famous actor and director feud became a court case. Faye Dunaway wanted out of her 6-picture contract with Otto Preminger. She said he was just as dictatorial as Roman but less talented. Faye resents being labeled a difficult actress. She insists Otto and Roman are the only directors she hasn't gotten along with. Werner Herzog versus Klaus Kinski. This actor and director worked together in 5 films, but the relationship was extremely complicated. It was even the subject of 2 documentaries, one called My Best Friend and the other called Burden of Dreams. The first documentary chronicled the troubled production of Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Arguments over how to portray this character led to violence. Klaus threatened to walk off the set. Werner threatened to shoot him and then even turned the gun on himself. Both were unharmed. Tony Kaye versus Edward Norton. American History X was Tony Kaye's film debut. He had a difficult relationship with Edward Norton during filming. He hadn't even wanted to hire him. The problems reached their peak during post-production. New Line Cinema didn't like Tony's 95-minute rough cut. Edward offered some notes, but it made the director so angry he punched a wall and broke his hand. He even asked to have his name replaced with the pseudonym Humpty Dumpty. A final version was eventually released with Tony's real name on it, but Edward went uncredited. It went on to win an Oscar within a week. After seeing Tony's next film, Detachment, he vowed to never work with him again. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Henri-George Clouzot versus Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte worked with several difficult directors, including Jean-Luc Godard, but working with Clouzot on the 1960 film La Vérité was one of the worst. The director went overboard for several scenes. He drugged her during a scene where her character was meant to overdose and she had to have her stomach pumped. He also got her drunk and slapped her in another scene. When Clouzot once said, "I don't need amateurs, I want an actress," she retaliated by slapping him and saying, "I need a director, not a psychopath." Sidney Pollack versus Dustin Hoffman. Sidney alleges that Dustin fights with most directors he works with. They got into it on the set of Tootsie. They couldn't agree on whether it should be a gentle love story or an outrageous comedy. Bill Murray versus Harold Ramis. This pair didn't start as enemies. They worked well together on several comedies like Ghostbusters, Stripes, and Caddyshack. Their feud began while filming Groundhog Day in 1993. Bill was going through a divorce and was unhappy during production. He'd often show up late and argue with Harold. The pair didn't speak until 2010. They never worked together again, but did make up 4 years before Harold's death in 2014. Gene Hackman versus Wes Anderson. The 2001 film, The Royal Tenenbaums, is still a beloved part of cinema history, but there were plenty of struggles behind the scenes. Gene allegedly assaulted his director often. Bill Murray was also involved in this feud because he had to prevent fights between the two. Wes praised Gene for his work, but the relationship is still on the rocks. It's unlikely the two will ever work together again. Katherine Heigl versus Judd Apatow. Katherine expressed her distaste for her character in Knocked Up in an interview for Vanity Fair in 2008. She called the film sexist, saying it painted women as shrews and men as fun-loving. Judd hoped for an apology, and even her co-star Seth Rogen felt hurt and betrayed. Katherine did apologize in the press in 2016, but she told Vulture in 2017 she hasn't spoken to Judd since then. Ray Fisher versus Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon replaced Zack Snyder as the director for Justice League. Ray Fisher played Cyborg and claimed he made the production more difficult thanks to abusive and unprofessional behavior. The allegations even led to an official legal investigation. Ray was so burned by the experience, he refused to work with the director again playing Cyborg on The Flash. Val Kilmer versus Joel Schumacher. This wasn't Val's first feud with a director, but it was one of the most vitriolic. It even led to physical punching matches and 2 weeks where they refused to speak to each other. George Clooney stepped in to replace him. The feud continued after that. Joel said in a 2019 interview with Vulture that Val was psychotic but a fabulous Batman. He died in 2020, and it's unclear if the pair reconciled. Keira Knightley versus John Carney. Keira admits that shooting the 2013 film Begin Again was a difficult experience. She didn't get along with her director, but doesn't think it drastically affected the film. John spoke about his true feelings in a 2016 interview with The Independent. He insulted Keira's acting skills and said he would not only refuse to work with her again, but supermodels in general. Other directors defended her on Twitter, and he used the platform to apologize the same year. She said he'd also given her a private apology, and she'd accepted it. Paul Thomas Anderson versus Burt Reynolds. The 1997 film Boogie Nights was a critical hit. Burt won a Golden Globe for his performance, but never ended up watching it. He said in a 2015 QC interview that he clashed with the director several times, calling him egotistical and full of himself. Paul attempted to bury the hatchet with an offer of a part in his next film, Magnolia, but Burt refused. Now it's time to hear from you. Which one of these feuds was the most surprising to hear about? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.